Hello.
Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pod Live, where we talk about, the news, the lifestyle, the businesses, the activities, and of course, your business, Our Conscious Collective, which we will get more into shortly.
Yes.
Thank you for being here,
Of
Desiree.
course. I'm so excited.
Yeah. We know each other through a networking group called Trifecta Collaborative, and it's been going strong for a couple of years, and just a lot of kick-ass women doing their entrepreneurial thing and going through this crazy, wild journey of life together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you found us. So that's been exciting. So in the world of Costa Mesa, obviously you're a local. You live nearby. You grew up here, right?
I
in
did.
the area? Okay, awesome. Yeah. There are a couple of just little things I wanted to put out there so everybody in the community can be aware. But first of all, there is, are you familiar with Triangle Square in Costa Mesa? Okay. So do you know where La Vida was?
No, I haven't been over there to hang out in a while.
Okay, I know. But La Vida was this really great Mexican restaurant on the top level. Been around for probably about a decade. And they recently closed their doors, and now a new spot is there that is more of a Tulum fusion-inspired restaurant.
Nice.
So it's got really great vibes. It's, partially indoors, partially outdoors. Super convenient. So that's a cool spot. I have not been to the new version of that restaurant yet, but I'm really excited to try it out.
It sounds like perfect for the weather, though. Indoor, outdoor vibes. I like it.
I know. And, it's so amazing because here you can enjoy that really all year.
I know.
Yeah.
We're so lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky. I'm from New Jersey, so I extra appreciate the weather here.
I bet. My family's from New York. Grew up here, but they're always complaining about the weather. We're so lucky.
I know. It's easy to be grumpy back there. And then also, so Moon Goat Coffee is having a grand opening of another storefront location over by South Coast Plaza. And that's actually today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's at South Coast or across?
It's across from South Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anton or something?
I think so. I think it's by the Noguchi Gardens.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm actually going to cruise over there after this because they're doing all sorts of fun stuff today, certain people will get free gift cards. They're going to have it's going to be fun, wild, exciting.
That's cool. That's great.
And we love coffee. And we love Moon Goat. They're great.
Love coffee.
Yeah.
It doesn't love me afternoon, but...
Oh, gosh, are you up all night?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in the last 10 years, but I can't have it after 12 anymore. So,
yeah.
It'll keep me up.
There are definitely certain places where the coffee will do that to me, too. Mind racing all night long. And then one other event coming up this weekend is there's a furniture shop called Joybird that is going to be opening over at SoCo. Do you know where SoCo is? Okay, yeah. So SoCo is awesome. It's got so much design and art and whatnot. And so on Saturday, they're going to be having a grand opening, and they're going to have some fun stuff by Hadley and Wren, which is that really cute floral shop. And they're going to have some light bites and everything.
Nice.
And so... I don't know. You just have to go to their Instagram, Joybird, and check it out because it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, awesome stuff. But, there's always something going on in Costa Mesa. That's part of the pleasure. Sure. But let's talk about Our Conscious Collective. So, Desiree, tell us a little bit, in a nutshell, about your business. Who are you? What do you do?
What I do is integrative wellness and performance. And... it can sound a little elusive, so it is something that is very unique, and I haven't seen a lot of it around. So I would say what I do is help people create their own personal success formula to thrive, not just in their career or performance, but across mind, body, career, and life without burnout. So the goal is to leverage our personal biology, what we need and what we want, and really dig to the core to kind of create that strategy for you, because then you can make all of your pursuits, your goal achievement and all of that way more seamless. It's a lot easier doing it from that root and core aspect where you're kind of digging in, because a lot of times we set goals, we set objectives, and they're kind of influenced from the outside of us. It's like families, what we think we should be doing, X, Y, and Z. So we really get to the core of not just the want portion of it, but also the need. Because those are the things that we'll pursue our wants all day, and then we are burnt out, our health is suffering, our relationships are suffering. one of those things or all of the above. So this is really kind of going a little more organically, treating the system as a whole, because everything works together. Our bodies and minds work intrinsically just together. Everything, like our health of one affects the other, and it affects how we show up in every aspect of our life, including our careers, including how we show up for relationships and family. So it's really about creating that success formula for the individual, and helping them, because once you have that, you start rewiring your mind, and then you have this process forever. It's something that you can just continually utilize and tap into for yourself. So
that's really interesting, because obviously we're all wired differently. We all have different values, and like you said, I mean, for some people it could be that maybe their parents encourage them to go down one career path, but that's not truly what they're about. And so they could be kind of like swimming upstream.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. That's actually a huge one, is what we're influenced by, you know, from our history. And then we get somewhere and we're like dragging our butts to work and feeling burnt out by the end of the week. And if things are aligned intrinsically with your core values, like as a human, not your parents, not your external parameters, like what you want and what you need, everything is intrinsically motivated as opposed to extrinsically motivated. And so we're tapping into neurochemical processes that we're not even aware that are happening.
Okay.
So it's motivating us and it's pushing us forward without as much effort. And it actually triggers this reward cycle.
Yeah.
So we feel fulfilled even in the action of pursuing goals, as opposed to just like, I'm just checking the boxes to get to that goal. Then you're never fully present. You're never fully appreciating what you're doing. But when you're really living in alignment, you're not just going toward the goal, you're enjoying the process of it.
Yeah.
And it feels a lot easier. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So that's really the objective, is to make it not feel like work, because if you're doing things from a state of alignment, it's really so much simpler for you. It doesn't feel like work.
Well, and so randomly yesterday I was at the playground with my kids after school. I've got a 4-year-old boy, and he just likes to, you know, he's a boy. He's climbing everything, whatever.
Yeah.
But this just brought up for me that he was trying this new, like, apparatus they have there, where it's like these tubes and you have to kind of crawl between them, but it's very easy to fall.
Yeah.
So I'm a mother hen. I'm over there making sure he's not going to fall. And he's also looking at me and saying, Mommy, like, help. But then I'm like, wait, I need to let him learn to do it himself.
Yeah.
And then when he did, he was so proud of himself.
Right.
And it's sort of like you just said, it's like that reward and also the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, and the interesting part of that is when you're doing something that seems challenging, even if it isn't, but if it seems challenging to you, once you complete that, you get your brain gives you a bigger reward. And on top of that, it pushes you even more so to want to do the hard thing again.
Yeah.
So by doing the more challenging thing, you are actually helping yourself want to do more challenging things. So it works it's very, very interesting. I love our brains are, you know, and neuroscience is kind of what drives everything that I do. And it's very interesting, and we can really tap into some very cool processes in our mind, and not necessarily tricking ourselves, but we can essentially hack into, if we know exactly what to do and how to do it. We just need that framework. It's like, you know, you can have giant goals, you can have hard goals, but if you don't build a structural, it's like wanting to build a huge skyscraper. Like you have to have structural architecture and a foundation.
Yeah.
And as long as you have that, you can kind of build whatever you want. So it's really about creating that, and then like you can do the hard thing, and then you'll want to keep doing the hard thing. So
interesting. So people that are kind of looking for shortcuts are kind of training their mind in the opposite direction. Like they're going to be less motivated.
Yeah, and so we're tapping into what they call the cheap dopamine. That's what keeps us scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on any social media platform, or, you know, binge watching and all that stuff. And not to say that that isn't okay here and there, but
yeah, because I'm definitely guilty of scrolling. But
I cut that off for the past couple of months. I was like, no social media.
How do you feel? Like good?
I love it, because before this, I had never had a social media account on purpose. Like for my personal self, I've never posted my children on social media ever.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just one of those that I have always kept away from it.
Yeah.
So I never really fell into that trap, but this past year has been draining.
Because you've been using it for business.
Yeah, and I noticed that it was very draining. I felt drained all the time.
Yeah.
And because it just wasn't aligned with how my core, you know. And some people love that, though. Some people are into that, so it is, but so the cheap dopamine is kind of what keeps us doing the things, but it can work the other direction. It's kind of the same as, like, those extreme athletes and people that pursue really hard, high goals. That you're like, how do they do that? And it's because they're really wired their brain to do that.
Yeah. I feel like there's also, like, a lot of people who will go out and they'll take the challenge of starting a company, and then as soon as they start it, they want to start something new. And it's probably that sort of addictive cycle, too, of, like, that challenge, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, after that, once they've accomplished that goal, then they're stagnant. Like, they've hit it. So, yeah. What kind of background do you have? So you were talking about neuroscience and everything. So tell me.
Shockingly, that's kind of my hobby. So my journey started, let's see, how much time do we have? I would say my wellness journey started around the age of 17.
Okay.
I found yoga. I found meditation, like Buddhist teachings. I had some friends that were Buddhists, and that was kind of like an on and off love, relationship. I did yoga for like 24 years. I really, really loved it. And I found that kind of like my grounding, but I had undiagnosed ADHD and I was kind of a wild child too. I had a lot of goals, but didn't have that capacity to, like, I'd move toward it, and then something would sidetrack me, or I'd want to go party, and I'd have this healthy lifestyle in the day and party girl at night.
Okay.
And it was just this pattern that I couldn't break, I think because it was established when I was so young.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had these different, wirings of my brain.
Yeah.
And I ended up as a single parent before the age of 30 with 2 really small kids, working like 65 hours a week, managing a restaurant and wine bar. And it's just like, it was ultimate burnout. And I had things that I wanted to accomplish, and it was like, when do I have the time? When do I have the energy? And I hit that point where I was like, everything about this has to change, because the yoga and meditation and, like, the little bit that I was doing was not enough to break that dysregulation or to establish the new pattern. So I was like, I'm going to dig into everything I possibly can to rewire my mind and let go of everything that no longer served me. I literally let go of everything. I quit my job, like, on the spot. I took a leave of absence for like a year, and I just never went back because I was like, I can't do that industry. It's
very challenging.
I was in it for 18 years. It's challenging, and it really is. It can be toxic.
Okay. I've watched some of those shows on Bravo. I get it.
It can be really toxic, and it can be, there's a lot of drinking involved. It was part of my job, was drinking.
Yeah.
Because we were a wine bar. So there was just a lot of things I was like, I need to stop all of this. This is not serving what I want to do. So I was like, how do I rewire my brain? And I started digging into everything I possibly could.
Yeah.
And I had already been doing that a little bit here and there. But that's where all of that, the neuroscience and that, like, kind of trying to find, how do I rewire my brain?
Right.
How do I start these new patterns? I went back to school, and I really did it. I went back to school. I graduated at the top of my class. I went on to my master's. I was still researching along the side neuroscience and longevity, like peak performance and longevity was kind of how I would describe what I was researching along the side. I slowed my biological aging. I graduated.
How did you slow your biological aging? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So part of that is longevity. Part of the research is longevity research. Like, so how do I, doing all the biohacking, doing all the experimentation with, how do I age slower? How do I eat for that? How do I eat for, so I started eating to help my brain do better, but it also helped me with my body. And then I started, like, experimenting with different supplements and different processes, and sleep was the first and major starting point. So if anyone's looking for, like, what do I need to do first, it's definitely figure out how to sleep better. That is number one priority over anything else.
Is that, like, just like a certain amount of time, or does it vary?
Quality and time. So it depends on your day, but 7 to 9 hours of quality, uninterrupted sleep, where you're not getting up and down or being woken up by noise or light or any of those types of things.
Oh man, and as a young mom with 2 little kids, it must be no wonder, right? Yeah.
So, But just doing all of those things, and then I would do biological age testing. So I'd get like blood panels and see how I was doing.
I didn't even know they do that.
Yeah, so
That's
they test the age of your organs, of your vital organs, of your processes, and all of that type of thing. And so I haven't tested this year, but I kind of was like, I don't need to focus on that right now. But
have you
at that point in time, I have been like 4.5 years younger in my body than my physical age.
Yeah, amazing.
And then the next test was about the same. So I was kind of like maintaining that.
That's awesome.
I didn't keep slowing it down, though I would be surprised to see where I am now because it's been about a year since I did a test.
Awesome.
So you can do all of these, and then it's a fascinating thing, but all of that is why I do things the way that I do, because it all works together. So if your body is if you're meeting your core biological needs, like baseline or above, you are definitely setting yourself up for success, and you are already going to be performing better than other people, because we kind of push that to the back burner, which is fascinating because it's like the first thing that we should do if we want to be consistently achieving, consistently feeling well, consistently showing up well for others. Just in any capacity, really. So that's kind of like, that's kind of part of what that process was. And
so sleep was a big thing.
Huge.
And you kind of, you touched upon like the way you eat, the supplements you take.
I didn't back away from a lot of supplements, but I do take certain things, like there's omega-3, and those things I will always and forever take, and that's something that I've been taking for literally decades, because it boosts your cognitive health and your physical health. It reduces inflammation and all kinds of things like that. So it's especially important for people that don't eat a lot of seafood or fish. But it is really, really helpful for inflammation, for brain health, cognitive performance. So that's one I would say that is like really, of all the vitamins, it would be that and like maybe probiotics, because the gut-brain axis, those things communicate. And so if you have healthy gut microbiome, then you have a healthy brain as well, and healthy emotional state. So I could talk for literally ever about those things, but those are really important things to help with your physical health. And then, and the sleep. Those are core for sure. Okay, so when someone connects with you, I know you've got resources and everything. But how do they come to you and they just say, "Hey, Desiree, like I'm just feeling out of alignment. Help." There can be that. And so actually what I have done too, because I think I told you I took a couple months, not fully off, but off of social media, and kind of re-established what my approach was going to be coming back into everything. And so I'm going to be doing small cohorts, and that's where I started, and I really, really found it helpful. So one-on-one is always open. People can always come to me, and if I have the capacity, then I take them, absolutely. If it's aligned, I won't ever take on somebody that I don't think I can help. I actually recently I tried to work with somebody, and I had to refer them out because I was like, they need more. It was more, they needed like a psychologist and that type of thing more than they needed what I was offering them. And that's so very ethical, I think that by the way. To be fully transparent, like I will make sure that what I have for you is going to work for what you are going for. Just a full transparency. But I actually just opened a fall cohort. So I am going to take a certain amount of people. I have the enrollment process open through next Friday. You can go to my website or social media, and it'll link you to my website. But I'm just going to start with this small cohort, and then doing public talks as well. So I'll be doing one for my grad program, and we are also going to be starting another, I don't want to call it a networking event, but it is it's an educational / networking event, and it'll be every Wednesday at Love as well. Oh, cool. Or not every Wednesday, sorry. Every fourth Wednesday. So for now, every fourth Wednesday, we'll have guest speakers. So it's really going to be tailored to those who are interested in personal and professional development. Oh, nice. So that is the community that we're drawing, and people that are interested in learning. And there will be a small fee associated because you will always have, a guest speaker, a Q&A, and then you will have like a very casual mingling, networking, collaborative kind of environment where you're going to be around people that are also interested in what you're interested in, and potentially find people that you can collaborate with,
right?
Work
That's
with,
great.
Trade resources with, and so we're really excited. The first meeting is going to be the end of this month on the 27th.
Oh, right. Okay, so is that going to be more drawing in people that are in like your world, or just anybody that has an interest in like personal or professional development?
Really, anyone that's interested in personal and professional development. As far as speakers go, if you're in wellness, professional development, personal development, anything that you have to offer that you would be interested in sharing as part of, like, maybe it's part of your toolkit of whatever it is that you do as in your business.
Yeah.
You're like, this is the most important thing for me to share with this population. And then I feel like the audience that we're creating will be the practitioners and people that are just interested in personal development, because they will have a very concentrated network of people around them at any given time to access or to ask questions of and to learn from, and I have to go spend $200 and do this whole day lecture thing. It's like, here's 20 minutes of a really important thing about this subject. And then you also get to have conversations with other people in adjacent fields. So it's all inclusive, but it's really about helping one another move forward personally and professionally.
That's amazing. I think that's like such a good, it just kind of merges and blends the worlds of what, Love has been doing for so long, through Trifecta and the other events that they do, and then of course your world too, because that smoothie shop is all about nutrition, and you're about health and mind and body, so it really is the perfect storm. And I think for me it's really about creating that community, because it can be, as an entrepreneur, you're very, very public facing, but it can be isolating for some entrepreneurs when they're developing new things, or they're in their own world, being their own practitioner. So I really also want to make sure that that's a type of space where we're opening it up for the collaborative process as well. That's really smart.
So I'll be keeping my eye out in that program to create new programs where I work with other practitioners. I have some other fun ideas in mind, but where I will work with other practitioners so we can really elevate somebody's goal achievement depending on what their needs are.
Okay.
So like if somebody was like, say they needed more dietary intervention, then I would draw in like the dietitian that's in our network, and I would have like additional support from her. Or if they needed more psychological whatever, or I would draw from our network to make sure that they have that support. That's kind of what I'll be doing.
That's perfect.
With guest speakers in this coming cohort as it is, but to really elevate it to the next level. I think for one-on-ones, that's kind of the direction I'm looking at, and in this the different things that we're creating right now is kind of what I'm looking at for the future.
So what is the difference between the cohort that you're planning and then the Wednesdays? Is it just that like one's in person, or are they both in person?
No, the cohort is a 12-week program.
Okay.
So the cohort would be, you are working with me in a small group and one-on-one. So it's going to be like a hybrid. Because I found that to be really beneficial for a lot of different reasons. Having that. And it's for, this one is women focused. So the Wednesdays is anyone interested. This one is female entrepreneurs, leaders, and business owners that are interested in really kind of coming into alignment, getting their health on track, kind of striking that life balance and building that core foundation. And it's a 12-week program. It's specifically 12 weeks because you can only achieve so much in such a short amount of time. And 12 weeks is actually kind of the minimum. 3 months is actually kind of the minimum for making progress that's going to stick.
I was going to ask about that. Is that like, I know that they've tossed around all sorts of numbers.
There
like
is, and it depends.
21 days and all. So
it really depends on the habit. So the habit you're trying to create, it could take 21 days. It could take 380 days.
Yeah.
It depends on what the habit is. It depends on if it's aligned, if you're trying to force something.
Oh.
It depends on so many different factors, your lifestyle, and how big, of a thing you're trying to bite off. And that's why it's one of the core components of the programs that I build is all built on micro habits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about alignment and consistency, because you can have all the best plans in the world.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a good way to execute, like tactically,
Yeah.
you could be like going all gung-ho. We know people, and ourselves included, where we've gone like, oh, I'm going to go gung-ho on this, and then we fall off after like a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever the case may be, because it's just like very overwhelming. It's not about, none of it's about a life overhaul. It's about finding what your actual needs are and working through that process, and then giving you very specific tools that I know work based on, different things related to neuroscience. Some of them are cognitive behavioral therapy. Some of it is somatic experiencing. There's a lot of integration and overlap from different places. And then driving that with micro habits, because what micro habits do is you take the big thing and you break it down so small it's impossible to say no, first of all.
Yeah.
So impossible. If anybody can do anything for 2 minutes. Anybody can do anything, doesn't matter how hard it is for 2 minutes. And what you're doing is you're laying that neural pathway. So like if it's brand new, you are rewiring your mind just 2 minutes at a time, and you don't even really realize it. And that just like becomes hardwired over time.
Yeah.
Especially if it's challenging, like I was telling you earlier, it becomes hardwired even faster.
Yeah.
And you want to keep doing it more. You're actually making your brain want to do it more. And it's kind of funny, because we always want to go big when we're trying to change something. But if you go small, you are more likely to succeed, and you're more likely to be consistent, because you are actually rewiring your brain.
Yeah, like what's coming to my mind is like cold plunges or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like going in there, and you're not going in it to sit in there for 2 hours.
No.
You go in for like a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And it's freezing.
Yeah.
But you can do it, and then because you did it, then you're kind of addicted to doing it again and again.
That's a great example, yeah. And we have to be careful with cold plunges as women with going under certain degrees, because it can actually like be very problematic for us, especially over a certain age. It can trigger
for like organs or
stress response, particularly our stress response. We are more susceptible to like just negative reactions from the cold. So starting at like 65 and then going to like 60, but I would recommend not ever really going under 65 or 55 degrees.
Okay.
Especially over the age of 40, or when we're like going into perimenopause, because we're way more susceptible to stress.
Oh, interesting.
But cold plunge is great. I do face, if you want a quick hack.
Yeah. Love it. Tell me.
I do ice face baths. So I will take a metal bowl. Don't use porcelain. I've broken two. I tried the melamine bowl. They'll crack because expansion and contraction, and then they snap on the bottom. A metal bowl, it's a little bit bigger than your face, and you put like an inch of water and just keep it in the freezer overnight.
Okay.
And then you add water until you have about, an inch, 2 inches at the top, and let that get really, really cold. And then you just do a cold face plunge.
Oh.
You try to just hold your breath for a little bit, and, do like, as long as you can, like 15 to 30 seconds. Do that for about a minute.
Tomorrow.
It helps. Okay, so first, it's like it helps with your nervous system, but it also helps with your skin.
Yeah.
So it's like tightening your skin and your face and all that.
You've got amazing skin, so I believe it.
That's a quick hack for nervous system regulation, especially if you have the time and you feel like it's going to be a really stressful day.
Yeah.
Or like a really busy day. That's a really great. It feels actually so great, and you can't really harm your body too much with that kind of cold. It's not like you're getting in extreme 30 degrees or 35 degrees. So. Yeah, so that one's really great. And I would say that's a quick go-to.
That's a good one. And one of my really good friends, we had gone to a bachelorette party in Vegas. This was like 15 years ago. And I don't know if this is still a big deal, but at that time they had this like ice bar where you would go in, and in Vegas you're barely wearing anything. They throw like this like jacket, this huge jacket on you, and like muffs, and you were supposed to go in there and like enjoy the bar for an hour. And
I've heard about this place.
This is torture. Like,
Was it?
I hated it. I mean,
my God.
it was cool for like, literally, it was cool.
I feel like it would be cool, like, aesthetically, but...
It was pretty, but I mean, I was just counting down the seconds till we could leave the freezer.
You're like, I need more clothes. This is ridiculous.
I mean, or more drinks. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you survive this?
Heat from the inside out.
It was so cold, but now, yes, cold plunges are more talked about, and I love that hack. That's a good one.
Yeah, and definitely, until I would say maybe a year or so ago, I didn't realize that getting cold plunge below a certain temperature was problematic. So it's also good to exercise caution, especially if it's new.
Yeah.
I would recommend cold showers were something that I would do pretty frequently. So like if you want to experiment with it, switch the shower to cold at the end of your shower.
Yeah.
And just try to do that for 30 seconds, because the objective is to allow it to obviously hit around where your vagus nerve is, which is about 75% of your parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
Because if you can control your breath and start getting under control, allow your body to shiver, but if you can start allowing your body and breath to kind of regulate, you are able to sustain stress easier. So any kind of stress. Your reactivity to any kind of stress is lessened, is dampened.
Yeah.
So and or your recovery to it is shortened.
Yeah.
So like if someone's really pissing you off, it's less likely to piss you off as much.
Yes.
And you're more likely to have a lower heart rate faster.
Yeah, that's good.
By training your body like that. So.
Yeah. Well, we kind of hit on it before, but in this day and age, we're so busy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people are always busy, but it seems like you're more busy because on top of everything that you're trying to accomplish, then maybe you're also trying to be on top of social media too, and that's like a whole other life.
It's a beast.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be stressed about.
Yeah.
And I know those apps are designed to keep you
They are, yeah.
locked in. So you don't even want to leave. It's like a prison cell, sort of.
It really is. We're creating our own prisons with social media, which
Yeah.
is kind of wild. And they're using the same type of science that I'm talking about to keep you there. They know what to do to help you want to stay.
They have people on the inside that are studying. Yes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'm just curious. I know you've got daughters.
Yes.
Did you keep them from social media? Do they use it? Do you have them, are they under control with it? My kids are not yet on social media because they're 4 and 6, but they're on YouTube and stuff, and I would say that is just, it's highly addictive regardless.
Yeah.
And there's an algorithm that just keeps feeding them the shows that,
It's similar. I feel like YouTube's it just keeps going. Yeah, it doesn't ever stop.
It never stops.
Never stops.
There's not even a commercial. They can't even stand it when there's a commercial.
Well, I think they were fortunate to never see me with my phone a whole lot growing up.
Yeah.
In their core years, like the ages you're talking about, they never really saw that. And when it was Musically prior to being... What's TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
My daughter, she would be able to make her little videos and stuff, probably around the age of 8, 9, 10. So she would be monitored and somebody would be doing it with her because she liked doing her little dances and whatever. But she, interestingly, is rarely on social media. When she does, she's going to look for skincare stuff or whatever. And she's not posting and so forth. I noticed my oldest daughter isn't really as interested. My younger daughter is on it more now. I didn't ever have to regulate her phone with her, and so I never have really tried.
Yeah.
And now I'm I've been nudging her because I know it's not good for you to be on it before a game. It affects sports performance, and she's a competitive volleyball player. She wants to get a scholarship and all the things. So we try to encourage her to make her decisions. Because she was really good about it for so long. She'd leave her phone in the other room for hours.
Okay.
Now she's kind of all over it because she's 15 going on 16 and it's that age, and that's how she communicates with her team and her coaches and all that type of stuff. So it's I don't want to be too strict, but I do nudge her to be okay, cut it off at this time. Give yourself an hour before bed because it keeps your brain going if you don't. And so we set certain parameters, but it's not super, super strict. I hope I don't have to get super strict.
Yeah.
But it's more about teaching her why.
Yeah.
Because I've never been you can't do that. without telling them because of why. Like,
Yeah.
it's because it is like affecting your performance and it's affecting your goal. It has nothing to do with me or my opinion. This is
Yeah.
what science tells me. So I try to come from that perspective.
And I love that it kind of goes full circle back to the whole performance aspect.
It is,
because I mean that's what you're about. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful the way that you've explained it, that this is not just for one specific aspect of your life. It really is all intertwined.
It
and
is.
It's like a ball of yarn, right?
Yeah, it's all interconnected. We are one giant complex adaptive system. So you do one thing and you don't even realize, like, your stress is physically affecting your health. Like, all of these things are physically affecting your organs, your blood pressure, and chronic stress builds up over time and all these things. You know, so everything affects your performance. And if your goal is to be, you know, performing well across all areas, even if it's just in your job, like, you still want to make sure that you are tending to your health first.
Yeah.
Physical, mental, emotional, all of those, because it will impact how you show up for everybody, how you communicate, how you know, if you get burnt out or not, and all of those things, but your overall performance, like, in general. So it affects sports performance just the same.
I think that's a really good point. I think my takeaways that I've gotten from this conversation have definitely been, well, one, like reversing your aging. That's amazing. And it seems like you probably do have like hacks on that too. So that's good for people to know.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, or at least the ability to slow it.
Yeah.
It's really, it comes down to, you know, your sleep is number one. That can actually, if you actually can look up like interviews with supermodels and stuff, and some of them that are like really don't have to do a lot of work anymore, you know, they just naturally look youthful. They'll tell you about how much they sleep. It has a lot to do with your aging and everything, because that's the only time that we're undergoing cellular repair, like major cellular repair.
That makes sense.
It's the only time our brain is going through a detoxification process, our body's going through a detoxification process, our muscles repairing and growing, bones, all of those things are happening while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So the less you sleep, particularly deep sleep, so the less you sleep, the shorter amount of time you have in those stages, and the less your body can repair. So if you want to impact literally every area of your life, including slowing how you're aging, sleep is first and foremost, and then I would say movement and diet, so exercise and diet. I mean, it all kind of goes hand in hand, like I said, but
it's so interesting because you know how like every president in history, if you look at like how they looked at the beginning of their term versus how they looked at the end, it's like they've aged way more than 4 years. I'm certain none of them are sleeping until 10 in the morning, right? Ever.
Right.
So, yeah,
it's really about like trying to sync up your circadian rhythm. So our bodies naturally do best when we dim the lights and go to bed closer to when sun goes down. And wake up closer to when sun comes up. We just naturally do better that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're having trouble sleeping, cut off screens at least an hour or two before bed. Try to read or save all your chores for the end of the night. That's kind of what I do. And, you know, those are simple little hacks that you're like, okay, how do I stay away from social media? Well, get it done earlier. Save your dinner cleanup for the end of the night. Just switch it around instead of making it like an extra thing you have to do. Like, oh, I have to do meditation and stuff. If that's like very foreign to you, just switch the order of how you're doing things and make it a little bit more intuitive, so that like you're doing the things that don't require screens, that don't require a ton of light.
That's a really good point. And then like your house is clean before you go to bed. And
it feels
you're kind of like you're kind of just like tiring yourself further, right? Because you're doing something. It's a light load, but it's still something.
Because we always want to, like, it is kind of in our nature to like, oh, I have to clean up after dinner. And I do most of it. I'll do like the majority. I'm not going to leave all the food out. Like, I don't want
flies,
ants or any of that stuff. But kind of saving like the bigger stuff. Like, oh, I'll finish loading the dishes and I'll, you know, set out my vitamins or whatever it is, whatever your thing is, and then just save that for the end of the night. Maybe if you like to do some kind of reading, like, or audiobook or whatever, save that a little bit for the end, and then you can do the other stuff. If you really want to scroll, do it first. But you will start getting in the routine of just not doing it at all sometimes. So
last night I was going to bed and I was listening to like an audio on YouTube, and my husband was downstairs and he's like, what are you listening to? Anyway, Anyway, it was motivating. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was fine. But he was just like, I had no idea you do that. So I was like, well.
I know. I usually put my ears in because I listen to some crazy stuff. Like I'll go back and forth. I'm usually listening to and or reading 2 to 3 books at the same time of very different, things. And so I'm like, I don't want to bombard everyone. I'm listening to I finished like the neuroscience of psychotherapy. It was an actual textbook for like psychology.
You're reading that one for fun.
Yeah,
I love
just
that.
for my personal knowledge and research, and just knowing our brains better, and knowing specific types of people and their backgrounds, and like why people do things the way they do.
That's awesome.
But then I'll read, something that's like for my book club that is completely unrelated and foreign.
I've heard you guys read some fun books. So
yeah,
yes,
we do.
Cool.
I've only not read one. I started reading one and I was like, no, this is not my cup of tea.
Sometimes you just have to skip. Yes.
Yeah. I'll just come to the gatherings.
The other big takeaway for me was when you talked about how if you do the small challenges, like that ultimately will take you further. You'll get more of that hit. You're more likely to continue towards your goal and reach it. So I think that's a really good takeaway for a lot of people too.
It really, really is. When you do the hard thing. Do the hard thing. And start doing it for just a couple of minutes. I think I can make a really good example of this. I mentioned that I had done yoga for about 24 years.
Yeah.
Most of my life.
Right.
And I tore my hamstring, like just a small partial tear, but you can't do anything. And that was really devastating for me because that was part of my regimen for like my regulating my ADHD. My nervous system was part of that because I was doing Bikram yoga, so that's like very intense, 110 degrees, and they're like, you can't do anything. I kept trying to go back, and they're like, you need to stop. You need to go to PT. I was like, okay, I can't do anything. And so I was like, just after like 3 weeks of doing nothing, I switched to strength training. And I've pretty much been exclusively strength training since then, but I was doing 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
And I noticed results, my body composition changing from doing the hard thing for just 5 minutes a day. I could see results after the first month. And a month goes by really fast. I don't know about you, but for me, I'm like, it was just 2020. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So like, if you think of it in that time, if in an adult timeline where time is kind of almost irrelevant, like it feels like 5 years is, last month.
Right.
You can make a lot of progress by doing the hard thing just a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And now, I strength train, I think 15, 20 minutes, maybe 5 days a week. And that's basically all that I do. I don't have to do a whole lot else. So like you just build on those little habits and it becomes so easy. It just is really like breathing. It's just innate. Like, oh, I have to do this before I leave.
Yeah.
And that 5 minutes is enough if you can't do the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you
That's
have
great.
that.
Well, and I would assume that probably is part of some of the hacks that you give to people.
Absolutely.
Because I know a lot of women still don't necessarily think about weightlifting.
Yeah.
It's still a thing, but
I do zero cardio.
It's very good for you, though. Yeah.
It's changed over 40. I was like, why am I not making any more progress? And I had been doing yoga, and I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was still in great shape, but for me, it was the heaviest I had been. And I was like, this is so weird, but I realized like my hormones were just changing. I'm going to be 43, so I just noticed my hormones were changing. And so when I switched to strength training, I had to do less. I actually had to work out less.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I worked out
and you
less.
did the hard thing.
I was doing 3.5 hours of yoga a week before, and sometimes doing hikes and running or whatnot. And it helped my brain, but it didn't help my body in the same way.
Yeah.
And so I switched to that, and I work out, like I said, 15, 20 minutes, maybe 5 days a week.
Amazing.
And it's probably the best shape that I've ever been in. I'm definitely the strongest I've ever been. So it helps a lot. And you save a lot of time. If you're doing the right thing, it's all about coming back to alignment and consistency.
Yeah.
That's the core of everything that I teach. It's alignment and consistency. And honestly, if you tap into those things, if you know exactly what your body needs, you can do things more efficiently. You just, less time, more, a better outcome usually.
Yeah. And so I guess my final question, aside from you sharing where people can find you, is just like, with you doing all of this, finding all of these tools, studying as much as you do, how do you feel it's impacted your world? Like, do you feel like you're a much more like calm, organized, focused, strong person? Like, where are you at today? Because you said you came from a place of kind of like disorder?
Massive dysregulation.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just so dysregulated. It really completely transformed my life. And like I said, I went back to school. I did all of the things. I graduated summa cum laude.
Yeah.
I was inducted into an honor society representing the top 5% of business schools in the world.
Awesome.
And I would never have seen myself get to that point. And so I got there, and I was doing that while I was still doing all this research on the side, while I was still doing all my fitness, while I was still with the kids.
Yeah.
And coming up with this business concept. I was doing all of those things at the same time.
That's a lot.
And not once was I feeling anything but like energized by what I was doing.
It was like fueling you.
Yeah. And I think the only time I started getting burnt out, honestly, was when I was like doing social media like all the time for a year. I was like, I have to stop, because that was actually burning me out more than anything.
It's so good that you recognize that.
It took a while, because I was like, everybody telling me what I'm supposed to do, right? And I was not
we probably
listening.
all told you that at Trifecta too, but
it's a thing, and it does work for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily work for you as a human, with your personal goals, with how you want to feel. So yeah, it really has completely changed my life and how I approach things, understanding and accepting. I think probably the best skill set out of all the things I've learned, the best skill set or skill that I've ever learned is meditation.
Okay.
Out of everything else, learning how to meditate, and that's such a broad category because there's different types of meditations for different things. But that is the most important skill I've ever learned, because it's applied and I've used it for everything, and I use it pretty much every single day
Amazing.
of my life. And I think it's just one of those tools that's so valuable that when you learn how to use it and, the different ways that you can use it, it becomes extremely powerful, because then it helps you toward whatever the thing is that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Even if that's just like to quiet, to be in the present moment. We have a really hard time with that. So appreciating that in the present moment. So yeah, it's really changed everything about how I approach life and my acceptance of where I'm at, making sure that I, like I was saying a minute ago, like if you can't do the 20-minute workout, don't beat yourself up over it. Don't have all that negative self-talk. I'm always like, I'm going to do 2 minutes on the way out.
Yeah.
So I just will try to do it and accept that that's where it is, and not criticize, because that's just creating a negative pattern in your brain. And so if you can learn how to, work through that process and also understand that, like, accept where you're at, you will keep moving forward.
Yeah. It's so interesting to talk to you. I only have known you for maybe a year from doing the group meetings and whatnot. And you've always had such a smart, calm, confident composure to you,
Thank you.
That's how you come across to me. Obviously, I didn't know you 20 years ago, and it's always fun to kind of hear those stories, but it 100% sounds like you've done a 180, and for you, like, that was your goal, and you totally hit it out of the park. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it's an ever-going journey. Like, I'm always going to keep moving forward, and I think that's also such a benefit for anyone that I help, because I am constantly trying to make things better, and not like this isn't good enough, but like I want to learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
Always. Like, I actually have been entertaining going back for my PhD in neuroscience for a while.
You should do it.
I'm like, I spend so much time reading about it, and I'm literally reading research and doing these things. But so yeah, it's a benefit for me. It's a benefit for everybody else that I help as well, because it's just one of those things. It's a continual journey, and as long as you approach life in that way, you'll always be moving forward.
Yeah, awesome. So, well, we know you've got some stuff coming up. So where can people find out about it or contact you? Tell us.
Yeah, you can go to, if you're on social media, you can go on Instagram and find me at Our Conscious Collective. And right now there's actually a call to action for the fall cohort. So if anyone is interested in doing like a 12-week program, a little more intensive, it's not going to be taking up your whole entire life, but it will definitely help you establish and set up a whole new like system for yourself. That is open through next Friday. And then we also have at the end of the month the new gathering, and that's called Conscious Connections.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
I love
right?
that. Yeah.
It's kind of a play on what Our Conscious Collective, but Conscious Connections. And if you want to learn about anything related to like wellness and personal and professional development, to apply to yourself so that you're a better leader, but more balanced, or you want to connect and collaborate, see what other entrepreneurs in those areas are doing.
Yeah.
This is exactly what that's for. And that's the 27th. It'll be the fourth Wednesday of every month at Love. I will put up a page on that. That's on Eventbrite currently. So Conscious Connections is on Eventbrite.
Okay.
You can find it there, and you can also just go to my website, ourconsciouscollective.com, and you can apply for the cohort there. You can look at speaker talks. It gives you all the details for everything that I offer, and ways to contact me.
Well, you've been busy setting all of this up. I know it's it's a lot of work, I'm sure. So
yes, but I'm excited to move into this next chapter and collaborate with new people, and so
awesome. Yeah. Well, Desiree, thank you so much for being here and sharing about Our Conscious Collective. And I'm sure a lot of the information you gave is going to be useful to a lot of people, and I hope many people attend your cohort and your Conscious Connections. It sounds amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And cut.
And scene.
Awesome. Wow. I knew, we went like 50 minutes. I knew we would talk for a while.
Yeah. I can talk about this stuff all day.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
But like another thing that I was like, this looks just like mine. I was going to close it for you because it's like a habit.
It's totally fine.
It looks exactly like mine. So another thing is like if, for example, groups that you are in. So if you were like, I have my network of realtors or X, Y, and Z, like whatever your core network that you work with, if you had work with, I presume you do also work with a lot of females.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like your vibe. So if that was like something you were all interested in, like creating a specific workshop or whatever, something like that, where it's like maybe you were like interested in doing a cohort, or maybe you wanted to create something specific tailored for you guys, like what are all of your interests and all that. I can customize programs and stuff for that type of situation.
That would be amazing. Because yes, we will definitely have to talk on that, because that's something that's kind of like in the background. It's like one of like 6 kind of goals that I have for the business is, and working my way towards that. Like, so, and I wouldn't have the time or the know-how to actually like structure and organize something like that. So that's where you would be perfect.
Yes, that's what I
that's amazing.
would do. So.
I probably will try to attend on the 27th. I'll look at the Eventbrite and everything. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm not like wellness, but it seems like it would be okay to come.
No, but if it's like something that you're interested in learning about.
I love the whole neuroscience stuff. Like,
and it wouldn't just be me as a speaker. So like this time would be me, and I think I'm going to actually bring in the conversation about just establishing the foundations, so that people have like takeaway tools to something to actually grab onto and take away for that first step. I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm hoping that every session is very different, where it's like somebody from, I don't know, they're a psychologist, they're a yoga instructor, whatever it is, where they're like, I want to share this particular tool with you. So it's anytime you'd come, you'd be learning something that you could apply to your life, and that's kind of what I want. I want for everybody. So it's like, if you came, it would be you can come as an audience member, or as just a participant. You don't have to be a speaker.
Well, and I have a friend who I actually interviewed like a month ago. She does Reiki. That might be kind of interesting. Well, I can invite her anyway. She would love to like at least be in this world a little bit.
You can go.
I think you're right. Like it's you're very solopreneur when you're in your world, and you're right. I am more forward facing, but the days I'm not, like it's isolation too, which was part of the reason I started Trifecta, was just to have other outlets to plug into. And I'm very into real estate, but like it's also nice to be into other people's business too, because you never know what kind of connections or like collaborations can come up, especially like events and things, just anything. And just friendships and connections. Really, anything. And it's like, it could be like, you never know, you find your lifelong girl partner. You never know, like whatever is going to come up. Were you there when that, what was her name? Was it Selena? Were you there at the last Monday meeting? I think so, yeah. I think her name was Selena. I hadn't met her before. she was the one who came in and was talking about how she like went to a high school reunion with a guy, and then like as she was walking out, she was like magnetically drawn to another guy.
She's talking about blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know much about blockchain, but
Yeah.
that story, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to teach. They ended up landing at like a community collaborative.
Oh, right,
something
right.
Blockchain.
What is blockchain?
Blockchain is, that's hard to describe, but blockchain is kind of like the background numbers that all of our systems run on. And so it's all the zeros and ones and all the things. But the blockchain is like how we connect, how do I describe it? It's how we secure transactions now, like any kind of transaction. So like there's people all over the world that will create pieces of the blockchain, so no one can hack into things.
Okay.
So they use blockchain for all kinds of different stuff, but the I don't know how else to describe it, but right now it's being used for security, for a lot of security, but they use it for cryptocurrency, they use it for those NDFs or whatever they're called.
Oh, yeah, all that, that new age stuff I'm not familiar with, but people like apparently buy real estate with it.
I did like a few years ago, I did a blockchain course.
Oh, okay.
On like how to create and like how to work in the blockchain and all this crap. When I was trying to figure out exactly who I was trying to help, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let me just look at this.
Yeah.
And that's always me. I'm like, oh, let me learn this new thing.
I like what you've landed on.
Yeah, me too. I realized I pulled it all together in the end because I went to school for leadership in my master's program. And I was like, we're really missing the component of how to sustain the leader. It's always about the business.
Yeah,
always.
No, you're definitely tying it all together. It's like you go to school and you like learn these skills, and but you don't know how to like actually apply them.
I studied entrepreneurship, I studied business, sustainable systems, and I studied management and leadership, and I'm like, in none of these business or leadership classes are you taught how to sustain the leader. It's about, being a better leader for the organization, but what about for yourself? Like, how do you sustain that over time and be effective?
Oh yeah, so you're just teaching people how to be the CEO of their own life.
Yes.
Yes.
I should steal
You can steal it.
CEO of your own life. Yeah, I like that.
I somebody probably uses it, but it's still good, and I haven't heard anybody locally use it, so.